I don't know if it's anticipation or fear that you can hear in my voice, but we are at the Upright Aviation Academy, and we're just about to get on this tiny little plane. I'm not nervous, I promise. I'm being joined by Trevor, and Trevor is the pilot that is going to be taking me up in this tiny little plane. All I can kind of hear is my own voice in this headset, so you got to bear with me.
Okay.
Tell me about this beautiful plane that you have built with your own two hands.
Yeah, so it's my second airshow airplane. I'll be flying it this weekend at the Toronto International Airshow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Canadian International Air
We'll
in Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah, so I built 5 airplanes. This is number 5. This is my second airshow airplane. It's a Pitts Model 12, designed by Curtis Pitts. He's been designing airplanes since the 40s. This is the last of his successful designs. There's one after it that's never been built. But.
Wow. Okay, and I mean the specs of it all, like the propeller and the wings, like everything has to be to scale.
Oh yeah, there's a roll of drawings that you buy, and you just start building parts, and when you're done, you have an airplane. There's some other. I mean, I'm oversimplifying it, but the airplane.
I think you're making it sound like it's a Lego project.
It kind of is. You have to have started, Legos when you were pretty young.
Yeah, I would say so. There's no roof.
No, I kind of did that on purpose. I'm trying to have this 1930s theme, and that's how they all were in the 1930s.
Yeah.
It's windy. It's not convenient. I fly it all over the country. I barnstorm from one air show to the next, and you get sunburned and windburned and
wet
if it rains, and cold when it's cold. But yeah, that's how they did it.
So on the inside, it's updated technology. It's not from the 30s.
Yeah, I have a little bit, a GPS, but mostly it's pretty old school, the way they did it.
Wow. And how long have you had this plane?
This is 6th year. I finished it in 2019.
Okay, so you've been
So 5th
flying
year.
it. What's the furthest you've flown it?
This year alone, I've been to Grand Prairie, Alberta, all the way to Greenwood, Nova Scotia. So it's been almost coast to coast.
And how long can you stay in the air for?
2 hours, 2.5 hours, which
Before you
covers
have to
about
come down and
about 300
refuel and
miles.
rest and all that kind of stuff.
Just to get fuel. It doesn't carry much fuel.
Okay, and why red and white?
I've always painted my airplanes red and white. It's Canadian.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, is there a theme?
Yeah, it's Canadian.
Okay, and you are going to be performing in the International Air Show, Canadian International Air Show, that is happening this weekend at the CNE. You got to come check out Trevor. Coming up, we are going to be getting in the plane, and then I'm actually going to be flying in the plane. So make sure you stay with us. There is so much more coming up on Morning Live. Okay, well, because it is such a process to get me in the airplane, I'm already in. I am strapped in. I am here with pilot Trevor Rafferty. Trevor, you're not only a acrobatic pilot, but you're also an instructor. You perform at the Canadian International Air Show. Tell me about being an instructor. What is it like to teach people how to fly planes?
So we only teach aerobatics and upset recovery training.
Okay.
And I love it. I didn't think I would. I've been doing the aerobatics all my life, and it just kind of comes natural. It's nice to pass on the knowledge.
And now I understand that the training is probably very different from flying this plane as opposed to like a commercial aircraft.
Yeah, this is strictly sunny days, looking out the window, not necessarily for getting anywhere, although you do have to get somewhere sometimes. But yeah, it's a whole other, it's not at all like commercial aviation.
Okay, so it's a very different training program for people that are involved in it. Now, what would you say is like your trickiest stunt that you've ever performed?
I don't know.
There's so many.
Yeah, I like them all. I do a flat spin in the show that's really cool. The smoke envelops the airplane and fills the cockpit, and it looks spectacular. Not super hard to do, but it looks great. So I like stuff like that.
Is this the airplane that you're going to be performing in the air show?
Yeah, this is the air show airplane. Yes.
Okay, so does this one go upside down?
Yeah. This airplane doesn't know right side up from upside down. It flies equally well either way.
Wow. Okay, so I'm not going upside down, just in case anyone's wondering. I do have the shoulder straps, though, just in case I do. Final thing before we take off, how long does it normally take to prep the airplane before you fly for the day?
Yeah, with this radial engine, there's a lot to do and a lot to get it running and stuff, and it's not just jump in and turn the key kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's quite a lengthy process. Now, do you actually have to get out and spin the propeller yourself?
No, we have an air starter. Fingers crossed that there's air in the tank, and we're going to give it a try.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to let you do that, and I'm going to throw things back inside the studio. The next segment, I'm going to be up in the air. So fingers crossed. Wish me luck. Lots of work coming up on Morning Live. Okay, well, we're up in the air. We are flying over top of Hamilton, and I'm with pilot Trevor Rafferty. This is so much fun. I was describing, I actually thought it was a little bit peaceful, Trevor, but you don't see it that way.
I don't know, I've been in more peaceful places than this, but it's just wind and noise. It's harmless.
Okay, can you kind of explain like our altitude, our flying speed, all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, we could get very high today because of the clouds, so we're 1,000 feet up.
Okay.
And we're doing about 150 miles an hour.
Wow.
Which is fast for an open cockpit airplane.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's a great smooth day.
It is a great smooth day. I'm glad that there's no turbulence. Do you even get turbulence at this height?
Oh yeah, on a nice sunny day you'll get turbulence. The problem is that because we don't have enough ceilings, we can't go up and do any aerobatics. So we're just gonna fly around. Yeah, I know, really disappointing, isn't it?
Shucks. What made you want to become a pilot in the first place?
I grew up around the airport. My father was a pilot. I still live at the airport where I learned to fly and grew up and build airplanes. Yeah, it's all I've ever done. Well, officially, I don't know, whatever, as a teenager, but I could probably fly an airplane when I was, 12 or something. I just always flew with my dad.
Wow.
Yeah, always been around it.
That's great. And was your dad like more of like a acrobatic pilot as well, or was he commercial?
No, not so much. Just a Sunday flyer. We'd go places to fly-ins and go out for the day and have lunch, and it's just kind of a thing that private pilots do. And yeah, it was like a weekend thing to do.
Wow.
I just took it to the next level. I learned the things that I liked about it and took it to the next level.
What's your favorite part about showcasing at the air show?
I like the flying. I like the practice. I like before the air show coming up with a routine and practicing it. And a big part of the air shows now, what I really like, is the traveling around. I've seen the whole country from this open cockpit biplane.
Yeah, that is very, very cool. Well, you're going to have this plane at the air show, so this is what people are going to be able to recognize you as. Now, I know as a pilot, you probably have to deal with pretty stressful situations every once in a while. How do you do that?
Well, when you've been around it long enough, you well, first of all, try and keep yourself out of those situations.
Yeah.
And second of all, know which ones are you can deal with and which ones just it's time to land and sit it out for the day.
Well, we are safely back on the ground in the Pitts Model 12 aircraft. And Trevor, I gotta say, it might be strange, but I actually was terrified before getting into this small aircraft. But once I got up in the air, I actually felt more comfortable than I normally do on like a commercial airline. Is that weird?
I don't know. I've always been around these little airplanes, so this is my comfort zone. I'm surprised it's yours. I'm glad.
Well, I just feel like there was less, because it is kind of an old school airplane, like you modeled this to kind of, something to represent like an airplane in the 30s, right?
That's correct.
So I think maybe that's it. Like the less technology, the safer I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like less things can go wrong, right?
Yeah, I'm not a technology guy. I like this. I like it simple.
Yeah, it certainly makes more sense. And it's a cooler effect. Now you're going to be performing this weekend at the Canadian International Air Show. Again, remind people what kind of tricks you're going to be doing this weekend so they can recognize you out of the crowd.
Oh, you'll recognize me. It's going to be fast, loud, lots of smoke, close to the water. Every kind of stunt you can think of. Loops, rolls, spins. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Which are your favorite to do? Like if you had to pick.
Everybody always asks me that. I like them all. I honestly like all of it. I like the speed. I like the noise.
The speed, the noise, the thrill of it.
Yeah.
Do you ever fly commercial?
No, this is it.
That's it, eh? So when you fly with luggage, where do you put it?
Actually, on your seat, normally there's a big box, a big hopper that goes in there, and I bring my sleeping bag, my tent, I bring everything.
That's amazing. Now, what if you were doing international travel? Would you do that?
Well, no, then I guess I gotta take an airliner.
Yeah.
I gotta break down and take an airliner.
Okay, well, thank you so much for
right.
being with us today, Trevor, and thank you so much for taking us up in the air. And it was a great experience. Make sure to check out the air show that's happening this weekend at the CNE.